What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for being present tonight. We know that you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here, you're tapped in. Somebody cared enough about you to plug you in to this information and to this knowledge, right? First things first, my name is Rhonda. I've been an entrepreneur now for the last 10 plus years. And I'm excited to be able to bring this to you guys because it wasn't about probably 3 to 4 years ago. It was late at night. I remember like it was yesterday. I was online just searching and searching because I wanted to get into real estate, but I just didn't want to go to school, right? I didn't want to go sit in the classroom and get my license and do all the extra stuff. I was just like, I want to get into it, but how? And I was scrolling like most of us do. And I found a video on YouTube. The video on YouTube was a guy talking about, real estate. He was saying he lived in Philly and just kind of gave his whole story. And then when he talked about it and to the end, he was like, and I did all this with no money. Right. And it was the no money that caught my attention because we often think that in real estate, you have to have a lot of capital or you have to have a lot of money. Right. So tonight, I really want to show you guys how to get into the real estate space without any upfront money. I mean, like literally $0 upfront. You don't have to have any license. You don't have to have any prior knowledge. You don't have to have good credit. You don't have to know how to repair anything. All you have to do is have a want, right? A willingness to learn something and be consistent enough to keep going because it's not going to be something that happens magically the next day, right? Sometimes it may take a little bit of work. It may take a little bit of time, but either way, you can start this thing with zero and you can close on your first deal 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, right? There's individuals who closed on their first deal and made over $50,000 from something they spent $0 on. A little backstory for me, when I got started, I literally jumped into it. My first 2-3 days, I was like a zombie. I was watching videos, reading courses, buying courses, doing all this stuff. And the guru is this and the guru is that, right? I'm doing all those things. I literally did that in 3 days, right? 3 days. After that, I jumped into it. I said, okay, I don't know everything, but I know enough information to get started and literally had my first deal in 30 days, right? 30 days, I had my first deal, closed out that deal, made over $10,000. And I was like, whoa, that it really works, right? So that's all I needed to see in order for me to be a believer and to really, really go all in, right? And to this date, I've actually sold multiple properties. I've actually been able to help other people. Some of my students have sold properties. Some of my family members have sold properties. And I've been able to teach this. This is something I feel extremely confident in that I can kind of walk you through and get you there and get you going. So that's the purpose of this call tonight, right? So I know it's, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Some of you may have had a long day. You may have had the kids or work, whatever the case may be. But I want you to take this information serious, right? I want you to take notes. I want you to write it down. After this call is over, get back with whoever put you on this call, ask them questions, get some answers, right? But I want you to feel like you're walking away with some actual value, okay? I don't want this call to just be a bunch of talking and not enough jewels or gems to get you going, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be breaking into wholesale real estate, right? Wholesale real estate is completely legal, nothing illegal. Now you do wanna find out the rules and the regulations of your state. Different states just have real estate laws that are different. Like I'm in Houston, Texas. The Texas real estate laws are totally different in other states. I learned that doing deals in New Orleans. I've done deals in North Carolina, right? I've been able to do deals all over Corpus Christi, and every place has like something different. So you want to kind of just make sure that you know those laws, right? And you don't have to go extensive and like go all in and just know some surface level stuff. And anything that you don't know, you'll learn as time goes, or you'll learn it as you're doing it. So I don't want you to get analysis paralysis, right? And then right now you're like, oh, I need to go learn all the laws of my state. No, you don't have to do all that. Just know enough to get you by, know enough to get going, right? Don't get stuck. Everybody's gonna ask, do I need an LLC? You don't have to have an LLC. Let me say that now, before we get going, you don't have to have an LLC to do this business. You don't have to have an LLC to get started. Now, will you want to get an LLC eventually for tax write-off and credit purposes? Of course. Anytime you're conducting business, you want to have an LLC. You want to have your business formulated with a bank account and EIN and all those things, right? But to get started today and take action on your first deal, second deal, third deal, you do not need an LLC, right? So let's get that question answered out the gate. Do you need money up front? No, you do not need money up front. So no money, no LLC. No real estate license. You don't have to go to real estate school. You don't have to get a real estate license. You don't have to do any of those things. You can literally do this right now, today. And let's get into it. Okay, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys my screen. I'm going to walk you through some of this. At any point in time, please, please, please feel free to switch it over. And here we go, right? So we're going to be using 3 different sites tonight. And I want to be able to show you this. I want to make this practical. I want you guys to see this in real time. And it's not just some boring training where you're not seeing the actual steps. Now, what wholesale real estate is very, very simple. It's a buyer, a seller, and you, right? A seller, a buyer, and you. A buyer, a seller, and you. If you have paper, write that down. There's a seller. This is the person who owns the property. The person who owns the property is the initial seller, right? You're the middle person. You're in between. You're between the buyer and the seller, right? So you got the seller, you got you, and then you have an end buyer, right? So how this works is the seller says, hey, I want to sell my house for $100, right? We're going to use low numbers so we don't confuse anybody. Hey, Rhonda, I want to sell my house for $100. Great, Mr. Jones. Awesome. I would love to do that. Let's do this agreement, right? Me and Mr. Jones do an agreement. 30 days from now, Mr. Jones, I'm going to bring you $100 for your property. Great. Amazing, right? So now I have a contract with Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones cannot sell this house to anybody for the next 30 days, okay? He can't sell this house to anybody for the next 30 days. That contract is mine. We are locked in for $100 all in, okay? Cool. Now what I do is I go do some research. I go research and find out how much the house is worth. You know, what are the houses in the area doing? All these things. I go and find out, hey, there's some houses in Mr. Jones's neighborhood that sold for $500. I know that the house next door, the house across the street, a house 2-3 blocks over, they're selling for between $300 and $500, right? Cool, I know that. But Mr. Jones' house still needs to be updated. It still needs to be brought up to date. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a contractor. Hey, contractor, can you come out and meet me at this property? So that way we can walk it and you can tell me how much would it cost me to get this house up to par, right? The contractor meets me at the property. Me and him, we walk it. He looks at it. He gives me a quote. He doesn't charge me for this. You got to understand that contractors, they just want the job. They want to be able to perform that job and make the money. So they're willing to come out sometimes $20, $25, sometimes free. Go to Craigslist, go to OfferUp or Neighborhood or things like that. You can find contractors all the time, right? He comes out, he says, hey, Rhonda, to get this house up to par, it's going to take about $100. $100, you get everything. You're going to need a new roof. You're going to need new flooring. You know, the walls and stuff are good, but you're going to need about $100 to get this property up to par to be able to sell like the rest of the house in the neighborhood, okay? So now we know that we're $100 owed to Mr. Jones. We know that it's going to take $100 in repair. So that's $200 all in. But we know that the house can possibly sell for $500 based off the numbers around it, okay? So now what I can do is, now that I have all my information, I know that $200 all in, somebody can come into this property and make up to $500, right? Great. So now I have that information. I'm going on Facebook. I'm going on OfferUp. I'm going on wherever, however, signs, bandit signs, posters, whatever, people in my neighborhood that I know buy and sell houses. I'm doing all the work to get this house sold because I only have 30 days on my contract, okay? So let's say, boom, I get a buyer, and let's just call her Miss Sarah, right? Miss Sarah says, hey, I seen your house on Craigslist. I want to know, can I come and look at it? Sure. Great. Meet me at the property. I meet Miss Sarah at the property. We walk in. Miss Sarah looks at it. She's doing all these things. And she says, how much do you want for it, Rhonda? Cool. Great. Miss Sarah, look, I'm looking to make probably $200 for this property. $200. She says, okay. Now, Miss Sarah has to do her own due diligence. She has to do her own repair numbers. She has to do her own numbers and find out the neighborhood. I've done my part. She has to do that for herself because she's the end buyer. I can't come in there with my numbers. My numbers could be wrong, right? I can't come in there with my quotes. My quotes may be wrong. So it's up to the buyer to do their own due diligence, their own work before they make that purchase with you, right? So now we know that I told Miss Sarah I wanted $200. I wanted $200 for the property. She says, okay, give me a few days. She calls me back. Hey, Rhonda, I would love to move on this deal for the $200. Can you send me the contract? Great, Miss Sarah. I'm going to send Miss Sarah a contract for myself to her. Now I become the seller and she becomes the buyer, right? So I'm the seller and I say, okay, I'm going to sell this house to Miss Sarah for $200 and she has 10 days to finish and close the deal. I send it over to Miss Sarah. Miss Sarah says, great, awesome. She loves it. We send all this paperwork to the local title company. I no longer have to do anything. My hands are up. I'm just waiting to be paid out at this point, right? The title company has it. They're going to check to make sure that the owner is the owner, that there's no back taxes, that there's no liens, that there's no foreclosures, that the person who says they own it is the actual owner. All those things, the title company does that. That's their job. I don't do any work after that, right? The title company calls Miss Sarah and Mr. Jones. They correlate between them on closing dates and all that stuff. Now, let's say 5 days later, they're ready to go close, right? The title company says, hey, you guys can come. We're ready to close. Miss Sarah shows up. Mr. Jones shows up. They do the swap. Miss Sarah brings her $200. Mr. Jones brings his keys and all that stuff to the title company. And now the property, the sale is done, okay? Mr. Jones walks away with his $100. Miss Sarah walks away with her property, her deed, and all her information. And guess where that other $100 has to go? The other $100 comes to me because I was the investor wholesaler in the middle. I brought Miss Sarah and Mr. Jones together. So now I'm being compensated for that, right? So I made $100 on the deal. All I did was find a buyer and a seller. That's it. All I did was that, and I made my $100. Now, we're using small numbers, right? We're using extremely small numbers to keep this thing, more relatable. Now, just imagine that deal being $10,000 for you. That deal being $50,000, $100,000. I've seen deals all the way up to $280,000 off of one deal. You have to understand, if you get the buyer and the seller at the lower cost, or the higher for the buyer and the lower for the seller, you're always going to have room to make that money in between. Now, I'm keeping this very, very simple so that I don't confuse anybody, okay? I'm keeping it very simple. If it's $100 for the seller, that's what he wants. I know that's what he wants. I do my numbers to make sure I know how much it's going to cost in repairs. So that way I don't shoot myself in the foot. Because if I know this house can only sell for $500, but it's going to take $500 in repairs to fix this house, then we call that being upside down, right? There's no value in the property. If I know I got to pay him $100 and it's going to take $500 to repair, that's $600 all in. There's nobody going to touch that property. There's no one going to want to buy that property because there's no equity in it. There's no room for a profit. So if I know that Mr. Jones only wants $100 and it's going to take $100 in repairs, I know at $200 all in, some flipper can come in and make $300K. That's an easy deal. That's a no-brainer, right? That person is going to be knocking your door down trying to get that deal. Now, sometimes people get greedy and they want to come in and they know, okay, $100 for the seller, $100 in repairs. They try to put the property at $400 for a sale price. Yeah, you're going to get some buyers, but it's going to take you longer. And now you're sitting on your contract longer because you were being greedy. What they call is you want to leave some meat on the bone, right? You want to leave some meat on the bone so that everybody gets to profit in the situation. And when you do that, you start to build relationships in the community because now buyers know you come with good deals. Now, contractors come to you because they know you bring good deals, that you're not trying to be greedy, right? So that extra $100 in between is not bad. It still leaves a ton of money on the end. You could have put it at $200 and you could have made that profit. Anywhere in between those numbers is fine, but you want to make sure that you're being fair to everybody involved, right? You don't want to be greedy, right? So like I said, we're going to go in and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean using some of these apps, right? So Zillow, how do I find a property, Rhonda? What does that look like, right? Zillow is one. Craigslist under housing is two. Driving in your neighborhood. You can drive in your neighborhood and find properties. There's so many ways to find properties. Now, this next play, this one right here is going to change the game for you because this is how you're going to find your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, it's going to make it very, very hard to be able to close deals because you don't know the numbers, right? You don't know what the house is worth. You don't know what the house is selling for. So I'm going to show you how to use these three or use these two to be able to close your first deal just by being on this call tonight. And I'm going to give you a freebie as well, right? So let's just say we were going to go to Zillow, and let's just say we're going to look up Houston, right? Houston's where I live. And this is how you want to do it. Zillow.com is free. Houston, we're going to go for, let's go for sell price. I want to do it between, let's go 100,000. Now you can sell any kind of house that you want. There's no, oh, I can't sell a condo. Oh, I can't sell this. You can sell land. You can sell condos. You can sell a house. You can sell commercial. Whatever you choose to do, you can do that. Okay. So let's just say up to 100K. I don't really care about the bedrooms and the bath. That doesn't really matter to me. Home type, it could be any of these things. I don't care. And let's just go with that, right? Now, what I like to do is I like to focus on ugly houses, right? The reason why I like ugly houses is because nobody's paying attention to them. People drive by them all day long and they look at them as an eyesore. Oh, the house is so ugly. Oh, it's bringing down the value in the neighborhood, right? People see that and they're automatically thinking that's trash. But us as investors, as real estate investors, we understand it. Here are the two key points. If there's an old, abandoned, torn down, vandal, trap house, whatever you want to call it, right? That means two things. Either the landlord doesn't care. They don't care about the property. They may be out of state. Maybe they don't live in it. Maybe it was passed down from their family members. Or two, they don't have the money to take care of the repairs, right? That happens a lot. Of your parents or your grandparents pass this house down to you and it's going to take $100,000 to repair. You don't have $100,000 just sitting around. You can't go get a loan to be able to repair this house. So what's happening is that house is just sitting there. Nobody's caring for it. They can't afford it. So usually when I find an ugly house, the uglier the house, the better the opportunity, right? And a lot of times when those old houses are sitting there, the land that they sit on carry more value than the property. So you can have what's called a tear down. A tear down is where the house is so trash, we just got to tear that thing down. It doesn't even matter. But the land that it sits on is valuable, right? Think about these gentrified areas or things like that where they're rebuilding the neighborhood. The land that it sits on has the value because now a builder can come in and build a high rise. They can build a 3-story condo. They can build the new store or whatever they want to build on that land. But understand that property is where the value is, okay? So we want to I like finding ugly houses. That's my specialty. That's what I like. It's very easy. It's hard. It's not hard to identify, whatever the case may be. Now you can do foreclosures. You can do probates and wills. You can do tax delinquents. You can choose whatever you want, however you want. But I want to teach you guys this tonight. The easiest way is vacant houses, right? Tear downs, things like that. The ugliest house on the block. All right. So when I come in here, I'm looking for those things, right? I'm looking for that stuff. I want to see where those places are. Okay. Now you can always do other houses. Don't get me wrong. Don't knock what I'm saying right now. You see this right here? This is what I want. I want this. This right here is what I look for. This is what I live for. Now this says it's 95,000. It's for sale. It's been on the market. I think it said 50 days. Let me go back. It's been on the house 51 days. So it's been on the house 51 days. It's telling me two things. It's telling me either the price point is wrong or the marketing is wrong, right? They're on this website. They're putting it on the website. They may not have a real estate agent. It's probably just an owner trying to get rid of it. And they don't really know the numbers because if the deal is good, if you have a good deal, the deal is going and you don't have to wait. It's not going to sit on the market for 51 days. So that's telling me that I can either go in there and negotiate with this landlord if I'm able to bring them solid numbers, okay? And I'm going to be able to show you guys how to get those solid numbers. I want you guys to just pay attention and just roll with me. Here we go, right? So we got this property, 95,000, 4-bedroom, 1 bath, 1,200 square feet. They want 95,000, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this address. We're going to copy this address and we're going to bring it into our data app. Now with our data app, it's $97 a month, but I'm telling you, if you're really going to do this thing and this is what you want to focus on, the $97 is worth every single penny because it's going to give you information overload, right? It's going to give you so much information that a lot of these sellers don't even have. A lot of these individuals don't even know about this program and this software to be able to utilize it. And this is what real estate agents use. This is what builders use. This is the secret. This right here is the secret, and you guys are getting it tonight on this call. Now, what I want to do for the individuals who are on this call, I want to give you guys a 7-day free trial to be able to use this software. Now, this is the website. It's the THE data, DATA hack, HACK .site, SITE, the data hack .site. Okay. .site, not .com. When you go there, it's going to give you a 7-day free trial to be able to use this software, test it out, get all your information. If you like it, of course, pay the $97. If you don't pay it, whatever you want to do. But I'm telling you, if you're going to do wholesale real estate, you need this software. There's no way around it. I'm sorry, but this is what you're going to need to be able to do this full out. All right. So boom, we come in here. I'm going to bring that information right here. I'm going to bring it right here and I'm going to pull up this address. Look how much information it's about to give me. Boom. I'm opening it up. It's telling me everything. I know who owns the property. I know their mailing address. I know how many beds, how many baths. I know the living area. I know the assessed value, the market value. I can tell if they're delinquent in tax. I can tell you how much they owe in property tax, right? I can tell you everything. If I wanted to come up here, I can tell you if it was a cash, whoever bought this, they bought it cash in 2017, right? It tells me all the owners. It tells me every owner that's ever owned this property. It tells me right here, it's been on the MLS, which is the site where we just found it from with realtors. They try to put it on there. What I'm doing with this information is I'm building my case. So when I reach out to this seller, I can say, hey, sir, ma'am, you know, I see that you had listed this on the MLS, you know, and was that August 24th, 2021, you updated it, the sale fell. You know, what was going on with that? You know, by chance, you want to tell me a little bit more about that? Tax information. I can tell you all the tax information. If they're behind on tax, if they're current on tax, right? This part right here is important, right? So it's telling me the land value is $28,000. It's telling me the total assessed is $86,000. Now, the tax county or the tax office in your state, they do the assessments every year. It's called a tax year. So every year they're going to do like an estimate on your property or based off the land or based off the area. These are just an estimate. Now we know this is right here is assessed at 86 for the total and the land is assessed at 28,000. We can see this house. This is all going to be land, okay? Because the house is boarded up. The roof looks kind of decent. You know, we really can't tell too much. So this may be in between. It may be in between the 28 and the 86. It may land somewhere in between because it doesn't look like a complete tear down. Again, this is just from pictures. So, but it doesn't look like it's leaning. It doesn't look like there's holes in the roof. So this doesn't look like a complete tear down, but it's definitely not going to be over here because this is like the total assessed. And then this is the land. This is if there was no house on the property of the land. If it was just land, it would be assessed at 28,000. So I would be looking somewhere in that mid range to be able to offer. They're clearly overpriced. They're trying to price this thing at 95,000. Now we know the assessed is 86. We know the land is 28, but they're trying to sell at 95, which is probably why it's still on the market. Now, what I like to do is look at the comparables. Comparable means what's sold around the area, right? This helps me kind of understand. This is probably where they got their pricing. Understand when these individuals are putting their house for sale, they're probably looking at their neighbor, someone who told them, oh, I sold my house for 100K. They're looking at that and they're going off of emotions. I raised my family in this house. I've been here for 20 years. I know my neighbors. I know the neighborhood, right? They're going off of that kind of stuff. They're not looking at real data, right? So they're telling us right here, the estimated value is $101,000. Last year, it was estimated at 98. So you're telling me that you want 95, and I can clearly tell that I'm going to need to do repairs. Now, mind you, we haven't had a contractor walk the property. We're going off pictures. We're literally going off the pictures. But you're telling me you want $95,000 for this property when it's so telling me right here, the value was only at 101 and last year it was at 98. Okay. So now we know that the price is already off. That's why the house is sitting. So we already know that anyway. All right. So right here, we have the comparables. We can see that 45 comparables in the area. We know that. We know that the average sale price has been between up to 129. The average day on the market has been 61 days. Total equity in the property is about 101. So we know that, right? These are the basic things. There's no liens, there's no mortgage on this property. So this house is open, it's free and clear, right? All right, cool. So we know that in 2014, they bought this house for $23,000. So in my mind, I feel like this, sir, ma'am, you bought this house in 2014, or whoever bought this house in 2014, they spent $23,000. Right now, we know that land is 28. We know that total assessed is 86. Now, a lot of this stuff seems hard, guys. A lot of it seems hard. It seems maybe a little bit confusing or a little bit intimidating, but I want you to just take it in pieces. You're just using common sense, right? We know if something's valued at this, but you're asking for a price up here, and I'm still going to have to come in and do some work, then we know that we can't give you your asking price, which is the $95,000, right? So we know that, all right? So now we can go and contact this individual, right? We can contact them. You can go and scroll down, use their information is on here, right? Sierra Vista Realty LLC, Sergio, that's the name, number, video chat in person. You can set an appointment. You can do all that. There's a contact number somewhere on here. There's usually a contact number, but if not, you can just still do the video message or set up an appointment. Now, a lot of times when you're getting them from here, you're going to be working with a realtor, but sometimes homeowners put it on here as well. Now, understand when you work with a realtor or you go through a realtor, they already have their contract in place. They already have their money in place. So a lot of times they don't want to work with people. So just be mindful when you see those real estate things in the yard, like you don't really want to work with a realtor. You want to work with the owner directly. That's the easiest way to do this. That's the best way to do this. If there's a realtor in there, then it becomes people trying to split money and it just gets messy, right? So I personally like to stay away from the realtor route. I work directly with the homeowner. Okay, so with this property, I wouldn't offer them the 95. I would try to meet them somewhere, maybe around 50, maybe around 40, try to aim low. And you have that wiggle room. Okay, now again, there's some other steps on this, but I'm keeping this very vague. Okay, let's find another one. All right, so we're still going through this. We're still going through, again, I like ugly houses. Look at this one right here. It's not that ugly. It's still together. You know what I mean? The house is still good on the inside, but look at the roof. Look at the ceiling. Look at this door. You're going to need a little bit of work in here. They got some hardwood floors going on. Look at the kitchen. It needs some repairs. They got this old wood paneling, things like that. This bathroom needs to be brought up to date. Okay, this one's not that bad because you can come in there and you can do these repairs. Got a nice backyard. They want $100K for this property. Let's go see. They want $100K. Let's see how long it's been on the market. It's been on the market 127 days. Yeah, you're not selling it for a reason, right? We can see that. Let's see. We can clearly see that. So we're going to clear all this off. Go here, type it in, pull this up. That's the same property. Now we know the value 107, last year 103. They want 100K. All right. So yeah, we're not going to get that. There's only 2 comparables in the area. 2 comps in the area means that there aren't a lot of people buying in the area. That's a big, big deal. What do they say? That's a red flag, right? There's only 2 people who have sold properties in this area. That's not an area that people are buying in. It's not an up and coming area. So you might have a harder time trying to find a buyer for this property. And that's probably why this has been on the market for so long. Okay. But let's do our numbers anyway. Okay. So we know who owns it. We know the address. This is all public information. So I'm not doing anything illegal right here. You can easily pull this information up, this data. Right. So let's see. The land is worth 36. So we know it's not going to be land because the property is still pretty decent. It just needs work. And then we know the total assessed is 64. Total assessed is 64. Total land is 36. All right. So we know that we're leaning a little more closer to the total assessed and not so much the land because it's not really a tear down. Now we got that. And then we know that the average sale price is 159. And again, it's only 2 properties. So 2 properties, average sale price, that's not really telling us a lot because only 2 sold. So let's see the comparable nearbys. If we look at this, there was one that sold for, let's see, 1948, 1947. This one has a 1 bath. This has a 2 bath. The market, it was 128 days. This one was 50 days. This one sold for, where's the price? Yeah, see, these are the comps on this one are not right because they don't have, like, this one has 0 on here. So the comps are all the way off because this one's showing 0. So the average price is definitely skewed a little bit. So that'll throw it off. This one says pending. So this one hasn't even sold yet. So you can't even compare that. So the average sale price is $1,000, which we know that's not right unless it was just land. This could have been a land sale. That's why it was only $1,000. So them saying this price for average, it's not really the true number because one was land and the other one's still pending. So that number is not correct. So we only have 2 houses to go off of for the area. So them asking $100,000 is bogus. That's crazy. No one's going to do that. So now we have to come in here and use our knowledge and say, okay, 64 and 36. All right, sir, ma'am, I could probably offer you about, I would start around 40 and then maybe work my way up, knowing that we can't even get anywhere near $64,000 because now we're going to be over, even whatever without repairs, that's too close. So I would start somewhere around 40, possibly 30. I know some of my business partners would start around 20 and they would have to work their way up. Now, when you call these owners, these sellers, you want to start low. You want to start low, because that gives you room to work up. Some people will be insulted. Don't call my phone no more. How are you going to offer me $20,000? But some people, they're just tired. They don't care. They just want to be done with it. And you might be able to get somebody to say, yeah, 20,000 is fine. I'll take 20,000. Then you got a lot of room to grow and build that sell to where people are blowing your phone up to buy it. Right now, it's sitting on the market for 127 days for a reason. This price is all the way off. This is bogus. This price is crazy. It's ridiculous. There's no way. There's no way possible that they're even trying to ask that number. That's why it's still sitting here. But that's an opportunity for you to pick up the phone, call them up because their name and their information is right here, right? Their address is right here. We can always reverse engineer and get their phone number. Hey, I'm calling about your property at, Samuel Lane. I see that you have it for sale by chance. I see you're asking 100,000. Are you open to offers? If they say yes, cool. Now you can talk and you can bring them this information. You can bring this data to them because they probably never seen it before. They probably don't even know this. They just came up with a number. They're probably behind on something, tax. Maybe they just need money. Maybe they need money to buy a new house, right? So they just said, 100,000. And they just put it out there. And that's why they're sitting on their property, okay? So that's the second one, okay? So we're going to do one more. Again, guys, I'm going to do one more and really show you guys. And you're seeing it. This is live. I didn't script any of this stuff. I'm showing it to you live. This is what the process looks like. Now, of course, you can get in your car and drive and do the same exact thing, or you can go on to Zillow, and I'll show you some on Craigslist too. You can do the same exact thing. But what I like to do is I like to drive properties because when you're driving for it, not many people are seeing that same property. When you come on here like a website or something, a lot of people do the same thing I'm doing. They're doing the same exact thing. So they've already called this person and this person's received multiple calls. Hey, I'm calling about your property. Hey, I'm calling about your property. No. Stop calling me. Stop calling me about my property because everybody is seeing this information. But if you get in your car and you drive around, there's the likelihood of someone doing the same thing in your area is a lot lower than them being able to just access a website, okay? So this one right here says the price was cut October the 12th by $5,000. So we know they're a little bit desperate. We know that they're trying to sell because they cut the price. Now, I'm not intimidated by any of this because I know that there's flippers out there who can come in and make this thing look beautiful. We're not worried about any of this. I don't care. It could be a burn down. It could be a tear down. It could be a half a house. I don't care. I've sold worse. I've sold a fire home. I've sold a lot. I've sold land. I've sold all those things. It doesn't matter, right? This is real life monopoly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this address. I'm going to come over here, put it in. Let's see. This is an apartment. Let me see. I think because there's an apartment number on here. So this might just be one unit. This is apartment 15. So yeah, so this is just one unit that maybe had like a fire or something. So they're just selling one unit. This is going to be a little harder to explain to you guys. So we're going to jump over that one. And that's just because we're going to take up too much time. So let's try to find something else. Again, you're gonna just keep going. Ooh, this is what I like to see right here. This is beautiful. Remember, the uglier the house, the better the deal. The uglier the house, the better the deal. Stop looking for the pretty houses. That's out. I'll show you something about that we teach inside of the academy, and I'll show you what to do with the pretty houses. But tonight, I'm showing you how to get money with the ugly house, right? So I'm gonna clear that off, clear that out, and I'm gonna put this new address in there. Connecticut Street, Houston, Texas, 310. Let's see, Connecticut Street. There's two right here. I'm not really sure why. They may be on different lands or lots. Some lots have one lot, but it's cut by the city, or it has two sides, and they'll have different parcel numbers. So that way, like, you never get mail. Sometimes you'll get mail that'll say like 4301 and a half or 4301B. Is because the lot is split into two and they have two different parcel numbers. So it comes up as two. So that may be the situation here. You see how like right here, it has two like little houses. That's probably what's going on. But this thing looks horrible and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, cool. So we're going to just go with one of them. I'm not really sure which one this is, but you would do more work with that, right? So we have 12 comparables in the area. I like that. That's good. This is a Miss Seller Bertha estate. So we know this is an older lady or man, probably older lady. Let's see tax information. The land is worth $15,000, which this looks like it's going to be pretty much land. It's not really going to be too much with this property. It's going to be more so land. And then you have the total assessed at 46. So if I'm calling this person, I'm starting at 10,000. I'm just being real. I'm starting at 10. We'll work our way up to the land value. And there's no way that I'm getting around 46 on this property. I'm not even getting close to that, right? So 12 comparables in the area. Let's see. Boom. 12 comparables. With the comparables, we just want to see what properties have been selling around the area. So we can see about 33, 150, but I'm guaranteeing this 150 is probably a new build. Like they completely rebuilt it. 99, I'm pretty sure it's a rebuild. 33, 35, 160, 35, 150, right? So the ones that you're seeing around the 160s, 150s, I'm more than positive that we can see it and it'll be a new build. It'll be brand new or they built it up. Let's see. So this is the land that was on. And you got to remember some of this stuff, guys, it's these are all like Google images. So some of it may not be up to date picture wise. Let's see if we can pull this up. I want to see what this property looks like. This is all research that you can do from your home. You don't even have to leave your house. All right, let's see. So they must have just bought land, right? So they bought some land. That's where this address brings us to. All this land right here. That's what I'm telling you. You can sell land. So this looks like it runs from here all the way over here, right? You got some new build back here. This is the new property back here. You can tell. You can see this house is pretty decent. Let's see. This looks like something that's recently built. They got the gate up on it. So this may be an area where they're trying to come in and work on some new construction, some new build out. So that's probably why they were able to get that amount off that because of the situation, right? So we know that that's that property. So I'm going to close that out, come back to our original property. Now, like I said, these right here, you're doing the comps. But if you see such a jump in a price, then you know you need to look at it to see, okay, why is it selling at that price? Now we know this one was land. We can come down here. This one's 160. Open this up. Let's see what this one looks like. So that way you can say like, okay, well, this has the potential of getting to this price if they do the repairs, right? That's how you get the after repair value, which is called an ARV. The ARV means after you've done all the repairs, what is this house worth? Now you see this one right here. Somebody was able to get this off for was it 160? What is this? Caroline Street. So they got this one off for 160. It sold in 2020. That was last year. It was in the market for 2 days. Okay. So that's not bad. Not bad. We got some good numbers in here based off what we're looking at. 12 comps in the area. So what this is telling me that this area might be up and coming. We might be early to this area where we can get in early, get a good price, and be able to sell it to somebody with a vision for the later, right? So that's why this one's 150, 160, 151, but everything else, 33, 35, 33. That's kind of where we are, right? So with this person asking 60, not that bad, not bad at all, right? But I'm not going to pay you the 60 when I can tell that your property has been sitting for 67 days. I know that you probably want to sell this thing, right? You probably want to get out of it. So what I would do on this one, I would probably aim around, let me see, let me go back right here. I would probably come in around 30, come in at 30, try to meet them closer to their 60, but not at 60, probably around 45, maybe 50, you know, something like that. But I wouldn't go anywhere near the 60. Of course, I wouldn't go over the 60. I would start around 30 and then try to work our way. Seller's birth or estate, we know who owns it. All you got to do is get their number, which is called skip tracing. We teach that inside of our academy. I can show you how to pull up anybody's number. You can contact them, find them online, and be able to have a real conversation with them instantly and get this deal locked up. Hey, Ms. Bertha, this is Rhonda. I seen your property at 310 Connecticut Street. I see you want $60,000 for it by chance. Are you open to other offers? You know, yeah, I would love to come out and look at the property. You know, when's a good day? Great. Okay, tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Amazing, Ms. Bertha. I'll see you tomorrow. I get on the phone. I get on Google. I try to find me a contractor to walk the property with me. Walk the property with me. They tell me, hey, you know, this stuff is not salvageable. This all has to go. This is a tear down. Hey, Ms. Bertha, I just talked to my contractor. He's letting me know that this is going to be a complete tear down. So we're not going to be able to really work with what you have here. We're literally going to have to tear this down, the throwaway process of everything, the debris. I'm going to have to pay for that. You know, you're giving her reasons why her $60,000 is not valid. Now, depending on the state that Ms. Bertha is in, depending on her mindset or what kind of money she needs, she might be open to the exchange. She may not be, you know, 60,000. I'm really firm on that. Okay, cool, great, no problem, thank you. Right? If anything over 60, I don't know. For me, I just wouldn't touch it. There's different styles of investors. Some people might take it and they might just try to sell it at 65, 70. But if it's been sitting on here for 120 days or whatever the case, or 67, it's like you putting it out there at the same price, you're going to probably be dealing with the same thing. So you got to come in at a lower price in order for you to be able to see like those sales, right? So that's using Zillow, guys. You can use Zillow. It works. It's amazing. It's a free software, free website. Again, that's called virtual wholesaling. A lot of people ask me, do you have to be in the same city to wholesale? No, I've sold properties that I've never seen. I literally sold a property. We found it on Craigslist. We called the owner. He agreed. We sent him the contract via a DocuSign. He received it, sent it back. Once I have the contract, it's my property at that point for me to do whatever I want. So all this happened through the day, right? The next day I put it up to be, I think I put it on Craigslist or Facebook or something like that. People were calling. Hey, can I see the property? Hey, can I see the property? Hey, can I see the property? That lets me know that my numbers were good. We literally got the property sold in 2 days. The property was sold in 2 days. Title company had everything. We had one hiccup because there was 3 siblings on the contract and one of them was in another city. So we had to get a carrier to take them the contract for them to sign it and agree to sell it. But outside of that, the property was sold in 2 days on a property that I've never seen before. Never seen the property, never looked at the property, found it online, got the seller on the phone, knocked it out and made over $10,000 on that property. Never, sight unseen. I don't even know what it looks like to this day. Never touched the keys. Okay, so you can do what's called virtual wholesaling by being on your phone, your computer, and doing exactly what I'm showing you tonight. Now, Craigslist is the last one right here before we get up out of here, right? Craigslist.com. I don't know if you know how to use this or how powerful this website really is. If you haven't been using it, here you are tonight. I'm giving you one of the biggest gems in the game, right? Craigslist. Go to housing. You can go to housing. You can type in for sale. Right? You can go for sale. You can do a max number. I like to do this because it just makes my job easier because there's a lot of stuff on Craigslist. And if you don't filter anything, you just get a whole bunch of crap. It's a lot, right? So I'm going to let's do 5,000. Because if not, you're going to get all the people who say 0, like this right here, you're going to get a bunch of stuff. So just do like 5,000 to 100,000. You can do more than that, right? So this one says a 2-bed, 2-bath mobile home. I don't really want that. Sunnyside, tear down property for sale. Sunnyside, boom, right? Tear down. They're telling me this is probably another wholesaler doing this, right? But we're going to look it up anyway. So boom, it tells me the number, the address, it tells me the property. I can see it, $70,000 tear down in Sunnyside. Now I live in Houston, so I know this area, and Sunnyside's actually an up and coming area. So I know that whoever's selling this, they're probably another investor, because 70,000 seems about the selling price for the area, right? There's 9 comparables in the area. We know we're getting up to about 115,000. The estimated value was 57. Last year, 64. Like I said, it's an up and coming area that's starting to be gentrified right now. And they're building townhomes and like a Whole Foods and things like that. So I know that these numbers are a little off because they're actually upgraded that whole area. Now, 9 comparables in the area. We can see that. Let's see. That's 11,000, probably land, 170, 77, 1,000. That's people were selling land at $1,000. Understand, 145, 81, 121, 120, 81, right? So you can see these comps, but I guarantee you if we open this up, they're probably already building on those properties. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. They don't have any good pictures on this one. So if I can't get a good picture, I'll just go to Google, take it to Google. Because a lot of times Google's photos are pretty much up to date for the most part. All right, so you see how this is the property right here. You got that around it. That's a land. But you see that house back there? That's a new build. That's new construction. New construction. Right? You can tell that there's some houses that are being built in this area, and you got that ugly eyesight right there. So someone's willing to pay that amount of money right now because they know what it's going to be worth later, right? So you got 5 comps in the area. We got the MLS 116 days on the market. They tried to sell it at 145, and now they're selling it at 70,000. They realized they couldn't sell it. They were out of their mind. Right? So let's go back. This is Corksy Street. All right, let's go back down here. All right, so they had it on here. They failed. It was on the market for 7 days. That one failed. Tax information, Mr. James Green. Land is 31. Total assessed is 40. Right? So we know between 31 and 40, that's not a big difference. So let's see, this is a tear down. They're telling us it's clearly to tear down, which is cool. So it's really just going to be that land value. Now, 31,000, them asking 70 is a big, big jump. So it's probably a wholesaler on this property who's trying to sell it, because the owner is probably somewhere closer to this price, one of these numbers, and then the wholesaler is being greedy and they're putting too much on the price. So that's probably why it's kind of on there. Okay. But you could always call it. You could always call them, ask them, find out if it's the owner directly, have a conversation. When it's on Craigslist, all you have to do is hit reply, and then it's going to show their email address. And you can just send them an email. Some have their phone number, some have their email. Hey, Mr. Green, I was calling. My name is Rhonda. I've seen your property on Craigslist. By chance, are you open to entertaining other offers? Hear what he has to say. You give him your information, you take his. You figure out where you guys can meet in between. But I feel like the 70,000 could be a possible stretch. You can always still go and do more due diligence, go look at the property, go see what's around the area, go drive a couple of blocks, see if they're doing any new stuff. If you see new stuff, the area is coming up and there's potential there. Okay. So you never want to go by just the numbers. Sometimes you got to get out the car, go out there and go see it for yourself. All right. Last one. I hope you guys are getting some value tonight. This is what we really want to do. We want to bring this to you and be able to really put you in a position to win. I know a lot of people say they don't have money to start. They don't have money to get into real estate, or they don't have money to invest in themselves. You can literally do this if you just are willing to invest time. All this is work on the computer, or getting in your car and driving. We call it driving for dollars. Get in your car, do those things, and then you'll be able to get your first deal, make a couple of $1,000s. Now you can buy an Airbnb or a TURO, or invest in vending machines, or start your trading journey, or start your clothing line. You can do whatever you want at that point. You just need the capital, right? So let's see if we can find one more deal out here. Fixer upper, 94,000. And on here on Craigslist, the only thing that I find is to be difficult is that you see other wholesalers deals on here. But once you start to get a little more like knowledgeable, you'll be able to spot them easily, right? So this one says investment property. Whenever I see that, I know it's another wholesaler on this property deal, right? So because they used investment property, a lot of sellers wouldn't be using the word investment property. But let's go look it up. This one is Quarter Street. Now this area I know for sure is being renovated and gentrified. Let's see. All right. So they want, what's the price? They want 93,000. They got 15 comps. More comps means more sales, means a good area, right? 15 comps is really good. 99 to 104, they're asking 93. All right, 112 was the average selling price. So at an average selling price of 93, this is 112. They're not leaving much room for repairs. Let's see, this is a tear down. Yeah, this is probably a tear down. Yeah, definitely a tear down. They may have some good framework in there, but for the most part, it's probably a tear down. Investment property for sale, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1-car garage inside the 6-2 loop. This home is a hot area, rapidly growing. This home is inside 6-2 loop, medical center downtown. All right, cool. Boom. So we have that. Now we can go and see tax information, 7950. Wait a minute. Was this the same person? Oh, Cedric is the actual person listing, and Mr. Cedric is the actual owner. So we're dealing with the owner here. This might get a little spicy, y'all. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we got that. So we know the land is 51. We know the total assessed is 79. 93 is a little bit higher than we want, but it could be because of like where it's at, and he probably knows that, right? So we got that going on. Let's see, MLS pending. He has it pending for September 21st, 2021, 45 days on the market. So I'm guessing maybe it hasn't gone through. Maybe he's still trying to sell because it says pending. But again, some of this stuff might be delayed a day or two, sometimes up to a week. So this could have been something that fell through. Right. So we know that. We know tax information. He doesn't have any open mortgage. He doesn't have anything that's open on this thing. So let's see what the comparables are saying in the area. So we got some at 113, 86, 76. All right. So Mr. Cedric is wanting 93. So let's go look at the one that sold for 113, because if he doesn't look anywhere near this one, we got to bring that price down. Mr. Cedric, we got to get it together, sir. All right. So we're going to do that. And again, guys, this is just you knowing your information. If you don't know your information, you don't have anything to stand on. Now look at this house compared to Mr. Cedric's house. This house sold for 113. Mr. Cedric wants 93 for this, but everything else in the area looks like 85, 86, 76. So he's a little high based off of his property, right? He needs to lower his price a bit, and we're going to be the ones to give him the data and be able to prove to him why our numbers should be where they are. Okay. So guys, make sure that you write down the site to get the 7-day free trial. It's thedatahack.site, S-I-T-E, thedatahack.site, not .com, .site. That's going to give you the 7-day free trial. Now, if you're smart and you want to take advantage of your 7 days, just go out, drive for dollars, get a whole bunch of addresses, right? Spend an hour a day, drive for dollars, and build a whole list, and then to spend 1 day getting all the information from your site, right? Using your data site, thedatahack.site, right? Once you get in here, you can take all that information and now you can utilize it to move forward. So then you're not paying anything. Like I said at the beginning, it doesn't take any money to get this thing started. All right. It doesn't take any money to get this thing started, but literally that's how easy this is. You're using sites like Craigslist. You're using sites like Zillow to find these things, Zillow.com, Craigslist.com, getting in your car and driving. One last hack for you guys, something that I do, and this works really well. Find the mailman, the Amazon guy, or the Uber Eats person who you know, and offer them money. hey, every time you see an abandoned house, take a picture and send me the address. If I close on that property, I'll pay you $500. How many times does the mailman walk through a neighborhood? How many times does the Amazon guy drive a particular neighborhood? How many times does the Uber Eats? He's all over town. The Uber guy is all over the city. That's another set of eyes for you to be able to give you information, to get you numbers and get you data, right? So we call those bird dogs. No disrespect, no funny stuff, right? But the more eyes you can get out there, the better it's going to be for you to get properties, right? So you want to be getting properties all the time, because there's the numbers. It's a numbers game. The first house that you call may not be your first sale. You're going to get people who tell you no, they're going to cuss you out. They're going to hang up on you. They're going to tell you that you're crazy. They're going to tell you to stop calling them. They're going to ask you, how did you get my number? They're going to do all those things. I'm just telling you right now. Okay. So get prepared to be hung up on, get prepared to be cussed out, get prepared for all that stuff. And that's just normal. That's just part of the game, right? But this is wholesale 101. Literally what I gave you tonight, you can take advantage of it today, and get started. You don't have to wait on anything. You don't have to wait on anybody. There's no building a team or recruiting or marketing and promotion. You can literally do this by yourself. You, your wife, your husband, your kids, hey y'all, whenever you're out, make it a game. If you find an ugly house, take a picture, send me the address. How many ugly houses can we find this week? You guys, let's make it fun, because you never know when that diamond's out there. That house that Miss Bertha doesn't want anymore, and she's willing to sell it for $40,000, but it's actually worth $200,000. That's what we call a diamond. One deal can change your whole life. Now, guys, inside of our academy, I show you guys how to use the data hack site in depth. What I showed you tonight was super surface level. I show you guys how to use that to find buyers, how to find properties for Airbnb, there's so much stuff, guys. But look, you get the software for 7 days for free. As long as you go through that, you can test it out, you can try it out, you can do it. We give you contracts, what contracts to use when you get your buyer and your seller. We tell you what title companies to go through. We literally help you on the phone with your buyers, with your sellers. We help you find contractors, right? You're not going to be doing this thing by yourself. You're going to have help from myself and my team to be able to get you through your first deal, your second deal, your third deal. You can do what's called a joint venture, where let's say I find a property, but you may have the buyer, right? We can joint venture on that where we split it 50-50, right? We can do a 60-40, you can do a 80-20, whatever you choose to do. But you're going to be a part of a community of individuals who are doing the same thing, and we can all help you. We can all help you get to your first deal. Some people are going to walk away from this call and feel like I can do this on my own. You can do it on your own, but it may take you a little longer. It may take you a little more bump in your head. It may take you a little more work, whereas you can join a community and get results fast, right? We do calls, we do cold calls, we do role play. We do, where we go and just do research, market research, where we find areas, hot areas. I have a method where I can tell you what areas to go look in. I can tell you what areas people are buying in, what areas new construction is coming to. All that stuff, I can show you how to do it by using the data hack system and being able to really, really show you how to utilize and leverage your information, right? Information changes situations. But guys, thank you so much, right? Thank you for hopping on this call tonight. We don't want to keep you up too late, but we realize that this is something that people really need to know. This is a skill set that once you learn it, you can make money at a drop of a dime. You can start using this money to build your dream or to fund whatever you want to do. One deal can change your life. All right, guys. So with that being said, get back to whoever invited you to this call. Follow me on Instagram. It's ItsReallyRhonda, RHONDA. Follow me. Hit me up if you have questions, or if you just want me to look over something, or if you need help. Definitely reach out to me. Like I said, I've been doing this for now 4 or 5 years. 5 years, I think. 5 years now. I've sold multiple houses, land. I've partnered with some major companies and done some big deals as far as land. You guys really have an advantage tonight. We gave you everything. Like, we literally gave you everything that you need to get started. We showed you that it's simple. It's not hard. You can do this virtually. You can do this in person. You can do it in your city, another city. You can do it internationally. Doesn't matter. There's nothing illegal. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't need a license. You don't need capital. You just need some time and some willingness to get this done. So with that, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. We appreciate you. Make sure you follow ItsReallyRhonda on Instagram. Get back to whoever, ask them questions, and we'll see you on the inside of the academy. Have a good night.